Hello, Pioneers, and welcome back to your National News Show. I'm Sawyer Brisson.
And I'm Ty Martin. Thanks for tuning in.
Let's kick things off like we do most weeks with some pop culture news. Trisha Paytas has announced last week on her Instagram that her and her husband, Water, formerly known as Moses, are expecting their first child after years of talking about their issues conceiving child.
Simone Biles, 24, announced her engagement to Houston, Texas defensive back Jonathan Owens on social media Tuesday. The easiest yes, Simone Biles wrote in a caption on Instagram, adding, quote, "I can't wait to spend forever and ever with you. You're everything I ever dreamed of and more," end quote. Owens also took a picture on Instagram to share a picture of the Valentine's Day engagement. Now let's throw it over to some national news. According to NBC News, a girl who went missing more than 2 years ago at the age of 4 was found alive by police on Monday, hidden underneath a staircase in a New York home. Paisley Schultz, now 6, was found in a residence in Saugerties, about 45 miles south of Albany, on Monday night after authorities received a tip regarding her whereabouts. According to the Saugerties Police Department, Kimberly Cooper, Kirk Schultz Jr., and Kirk Schultz Sr., who are Paisley Schultz's non-custodial parents, were arrested and charged in Paisley's disappearance.
President Joe Biden has directed the National Archives to send White House visitor logs from the Trump administration to the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Former President Donald Trump was trying to block the release of the records, but White House counsel Dana Remus said in a letter to National Archivist David Ferrero on Tuesday that the president rejects Trump's claim that the visitor logs from his time in office are subject to executive privilege.
An American research team reported that it has possibly cured HIV in a woman for the first time, building on past successes as well as failures in the HIV cure research field. These scientists have used a cutting-edge stem cell transplant method they expect will expand the pool of people who could receive similar treatment to several dozen annually. Their patients stepped into a ratified club that includes 3 men whom scientists have cured or likely cured of HIV. Researchers also know of 2 women whose immune system have quite extraordinarily apparently vanquished the virus.
Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva listed two legal substances used to improve heart function on an anti-doping control form she filled out before her drug case at the Olympics erupted, according to documents submitted in her case.
The World Anti-Doping Agency filed a brief in the Valieva case stating that the existence of L-carnitine and hypoxin, through both legal, undercuts the argument that a banned substance, trimetazine, might have entered the skater system accidentally.
To follow U.S. sprinter Shakira Richardson is calling out Olympic and anti-doping officials after Russian skater Kamila Valieva was allowed to compete despite testing positive for a banned drug.
Can we get a solid answer on the difference between their situations? Richardson asked on Twitter after mediators ruled that Valieva should be allowed to skate in the women's individual competition in Beijing. Quote, "The only difference I see is that I'm a young black lady," Richardson said. Quote, it's all in the skin," end quote, she added.
At least 94 people have died in the Brazilian mountain city in Petrópolis, local officials said Wednesday, after heavy rains triggered landslides that washed out streets, swept away cars, and buried homes. Rainfall on Tuesday afternoon alone was more than the historical average for the whole of February, according to the Civil Defense of Rio. Floodwaters raced through hillside neighborhoods, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Brazil's Civil Defense Secretariat said on Tuesday that 269 landslides have been recorded.
The controversy around Spotify and its podcaster Joe Rogan has drawn new attention to the medium at the time when podcasting has grown to become yet another platform that Americans turn to for news. About a quarter of U.S. adults, 23%, say that they get news at least sometimes from podcasts, according to Pew Research Center survey conducted in July of 2021.
Now here's Chase Balzer with your COVID update.
Thanks, Sawyer. Now for your sought-after COVID update. This week we are seeing an average of around 2,400 cases a week. Though these numbers are still fairly high, looking at the rest of the U.S., these numbers are on the lower side, which can be categorized as a good thing. In more COVID news, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is reviewing its mask guidance, Walensky told the public during a White House COVID update Wednesday. Quote, "We want to give people a break from things like mask wearing when these metrics are better, and then have the ability to reach for them again should things worsen," end quote, she said. That's all I have for you today. Now, back to the desk.
Michigan men's basketball coach Juwan Howard has been suspended 5 games, the remainder of the regular season, and fined $40,000 for hitting Wisconsin assistant coach Joe Cabernoff in the game faced off on Sunday. The Big Ten Conference announced on Monday. Let's roll the clip so you can see what went down.
Interesting finish here, 77. Oh, see, and they're going at it. Oh, yeah. Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. And Juwan Howard just threw a right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene. Oh, my God. Trying to get separated, and there's no doubt it all stems from the timeout by Greg Gard. Now, that's not an excuse for this, but that is what angered Juwan Howard.
A 6-year fight over equal pay that had pitted key members of the World Cup winning United States women's soccer team against their sports national governing body ended on Tuesday morning, with a settlement that included a multi-million-dollar payment to the players and a promise by their federation to equalize pay between the men's and women's national teams.
Under the terms of the agreements, the athletes, a group comprised of several dozen current and former women's national team players, will share $24 million in payments from the federation. U.S. Soccer, the bulk of that figure is to pay back a tacit admission that the compensation for men and women's teams have been unequal for years.
That's all we have for you today, Pioneers. Thanks for tuning in. For The Juice, I'm Sawyer Brisson.
And I'm Ty Martin. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.